Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of Jimmy's Decorative Moments. I am so excited for today's show, but before we get started, I always like to thank our sponsors. Thank you so much to Be Our Guest Party Rental for providing all the set decoration. Thank you so much to Glenn and Janice Williams of the Rosendale Arts Alliance for your support in starting the show and just your continued support throughout. A few months ago, I had an idea for a show concept that really focused on bar and bat mitzvahs. And you know, in the events industry, we do a lot of different types of events. We do weddings, we do corporate parties, we do so many things. But bar and bat mitzvahs are really their own specialty. And so for the show, I want to bring in two people who I felt were really experts in the field. So without much further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce them. First, I'd like to introduce Stephanie Stark-Kent of SSK Events. And next, I'd like to introduce Rachel Bloomer of Siegel Production. Did I pronounce it right?
You
did. Great, I'm so happy. Thank you both so much for being on the show. I feel like we were talking about this like a month ago or some time ago, and then so finally it all started to come together. Yeah. So, I guess just to get the concept started, what exactly is a bar bat mitzvah?
Yeah, so bar bat mitzvah is when kids around the age of 12 or 13, if they grew up in the Jewish faith, are called to the Torah, which means they become a Jewish adult at that age, and they read Hebrew, they go in front of their congregation. It's a really special moment. They've learned how to read and write Hebrew for the past several years, so they really are learning another language. And it's really special to come up in front of your congregation and show them what you've been working on.
Wait a second, so every single person who has a bar bat mitzvah, they have to learn Hebrew?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Not necessarily conversationally. It's more liturgical in that they read and write the language. Like a lot of the kids have been going to Hebrew school since preschool, really. So they put a lot of work into it. Their family are very, very proud. So this is kind of the way that they celebrate. They read from the Torah, and then afterwards, a lot of times they'll have a big blowout party.
Nice. Oh my God. And I have to say, I love the sparkles on your face.
Oh.
I just noticed that. I was like starting to smile very wide. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, that's really interesting. I've worked on a few bar and bat mitzvahs, and especially, you know, obviously doing the floral for them. So, and they're all a little bit different. Like the decor of them, it really depends, first of all, on the gender of the mitzvah. Like what if it's a boy, it's a bar mitzvah, and if it's a girl, it's a bat mitzvah.
Correct.
So, what are, I guess, Stephanie, so you have planned so many beautiful mitzvahs. Like I have seen the images, and on some of them you even worked with Siegel Productions. Like
some of my best.
Oh.
So like what do you think about? Like okay, so like okay, they're excited, they're getting ready, like they're preparing, they're learning Hebrew, so when you're about to sit down with a client and talk about planning a mitzvah, what are some of the first questions or thoughts they should?
So there's so many ways to skin the cat, but my first approach is to establish a relationship with the client, with the child. My job is really to get to know them and what their desires are for their celebration and create an environment and kind of an impactful social setting that is reflective of what they want. There really isn't any one way to approach the planning process. It really is dictated by the client and the child and what interests them. You might have a child who's really shy and reserved, in which case like a big blowout party probably isn't the best way to showcase their accomplishment. You might have a child who's super outgoing, loves to dance, in which case we plan a big blowout with Siegel Productions.
So wait a second, Stephanie.
Yes.
So if the child is shy,
Yes.
like what does that party look like?
Oh, it could be a couple different things. I mean, it can be a traditional dinner dance celebration that a lot of people come to know after a bar bat mitzvah ceremony. Okay. Or it could be something really different and outside the box. It could be kind of like an outing, a group outing with an intimate group of friends where we take them to play paintball, or it doesn't have to be that party where that child is on kind of on blast and being showcased and center of attention. If that child has like sensory limitations, there's ways to kind of celebrate their accomplishments without having to do like the big kind of dinner dance at night.
I have to be honest with you, I had no idea. I thought everyone who had their mitzvah has a celebration of some sort.
It can be intimate. It can be much more intimate. It can be a luncheon at the temple. It can be something at home.
A lot of times we'll see, parents taking the kids on a family vacation to Israel.
Right.
It's very popular.
Right.
And then they get back and they do a kids party. So maybe not the 200-person blowout, but maybe it's 40 kids in a room at Jillian's, you know, still having fun playing the games, but really, you know, Siegel Productions,
I was like, is Jillian still around? And I guess
it actually is. We do party there.
I remember. Wow.
But at Siegel, you know, we have all sorts of different entertainers. So not all of our MCs are alike. So it's really about matching
Okay, so
the
tell me-
correct MC. So an MC is the person on the microphone interacting with the kids and the adults, getting the dancing going, really like a little celebrity that's going to be the face of your party, become a member of your family. And you know, my job at Siegel is to really match up the correct MC with the correct guest of honor. Because if you have a shyer guest of honor, you don't want the MC going, "Hey, look at me," and pointing,
Calling him
you know,
out,
calling
bring
him
him
out.
to the center of attention.
So stylistically, you know, I know all of our guys and I kind of guide our clients in the right direction.
Wow. And so the MC is really an integral part of the event. It's
Absolutely.
like the energy
Truly,
of the event.
it really is.
Yeah, and Steph and I work together in, you know, she tells me what the client is going for as their party planner, and we discuss it. Steph knows a lot of our MCs and makes sure that, you know, we get the right person for the party.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So in front of us is sort of a tablescape that we put together
yes.
for what I presume to be a bat mitzvah.
Yes. So my inspiration for this tablescape is for a child who's obviously pretty girly. The kind of slogan that I associated with this was young, wild, and free. It has that kind of bohemian vibe with the low seating, the mixed textures with the kind of shag carpet and the beautiful pampas grass and like just the softness of the flowers. This really translates to any party. If this was at a temple for a luncheon, it would be beautiful with perfect lighting and really gorgeous pin spotting and an accompanying adult tablescape design. This translates well for a downtown Boston hotel for a Saturday evening celebration. But to me, this is a youthful child, someone who's young, obviously young because they're having a bat mitzvah, but somebody who is
Young-minded,
young-minded,
yeah.
yes, like it's somebody who doesn't want that Boston nightclub feel, something a little bit more youthful, a little bit more whimsical. So that was my inspiration for this table. I'm loving this trend of pampas grass, but I'm also loving the trend of sitting at low seating for the kids' tables and doing something a little bit different for the adult tables.
I love the low
Thank
sitting
you.
idea. And I always want to do a show where we were like sitting down. You know, there is.
It's fun.
It is. It's really cozy. It's really intimate.
So what are these in front of us? These like little cupcakes?
Oh my gosh.
and-
So
yeah.
one of my favorite.
We have to show the camera because they're so
They're
nice.
so yummy, so yummy. So one of my favorite vendors that I work with, whenever I have an opportunity, whenever the client is really into really delicious, not only delicious but beautiful sweet treats. Her name is Carrie, and she owns a company in Cranston, Rhode Island called Sweet Indulgence, and she's the best. She literally is the
I have
best.
to tell you, I had some, and I was like, "This is so good."
Yes.
I have not had
Yes.
a pastry
Yes.
that
good.
was a vendor's
Yes.
pastry. Like, I mean, obviously, like I love my little Debbie
Oh, yeah.
Little Debbie cake.
from the convenience store, but
We all do,
I know
Jimmy.
that. But this was really sweet and delicious, and like it just tasted really good. And I haven't had something like that in a long time, so I was very impressed. Like, and I know that she's going to come on for the next segment and
Yes.
talk to us a little
Yes.
bit, which I can't wait for her to share her sort of process and how she comes up with cake design or the ingredients of a pastry and things like that. So.
But she's always, she's so willing to do anything that I ask her to do. She does really over-the-top, beautiful confectionery tables. She does candy. She does really anything that I bring to the table. I've done a ton of work with her over the years, and she never disappoints. She shows up early with a smile. She's always psyched to be there. But I pay attention to the detail of like every little aspect of the planning and what you see on the table. I just wanted to bring in a little bit of something edible. I think it's fun for the kids to sit down and be able to have something to pick on while they're listening to
agree.
speeches, before they're dancing, after they're dancing. It's just always nice to...
And these are little macaroons.
Yes,
And these are
yes.
so
Take them home.
Yes,
which I will be taking home.
Me too. She brought
Because
extra.
I'm hungry. So I definitely want that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. And then, okay, so, you know, drawing inspiration from what the mood boards that you sent me. So typically, audience, when planning an event planner will put together a mood board, lookbook, and so it'll have different sort of design inspiration for like the linens, the chairs, the tables, the floral. So I was taking a little bit of inspiration from that, and also just being aware of the colors that would be present. And I love ranunculus. To me, they're very feminine, and they come in so many different shades. You know, there's Cluny ranunculus, there's South American bred ranunculus, and so we're seeing so many different beautiful varieties. Japanese ranunculus are also very popular now, but Vanda orchids are some of my favorite orchids, and they come in different colors like purples and fuchsias, but this is the diamond white Vanda orchid. And to me, they're just so striking and full. And I like to use them in bridal bouquets too, actually. Stephanie pointed out pampas grass, which are very trendy right now. So they're very in, and you see them in oversized styles. You see them in sort of taupe tones. You see them in blush tones. So you can dye them to be any color, really. And but some of my favorite flowers are orchids. So you're also seeing like these blushed dendrobium orchids, which I love too. So just like cute. And I was
love
thinking
the color
wild.
palette. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
It's so
pretty. Yeah, it's just fun. And then for the containers, I wanted to do like rosé or like just kind of like to go along with the runner. So, but I think, and I love these little these.
They're new. They're from
They're
Pure
new.
Guest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cute.
I love them. It's like the gold and like it's a really nice detail.
It is.
I feel like with bar and bat mitzvahs, you can take chances with color.
Yes.
You know, you can use a lot of different colors and fabrics and things that maybe a bride wouldn't want, but a 13-year-old girl or, a 13-year-old boy
I
would.
wish that weddings were more
Adventurous.
Adventurous,
I really
Yeah, that's
creative.
why I love planning mitzvahs.
Yeah.
I love a great wedding. I
Yep.
love an over-the-top wedding, but just the creativity that a mitzvah brings
I
out in me,
know.
and as well as the families, it's just a really fun opportunity
all the
to have a little bit of
color,
fun.
and
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
just-
you wouldn't have a formal wedding and have people sitting at a low Moroccan
Yeah.
style table, but at a bar or bat mitzvah, you can get away with it. So I love
It's
that.
true. It is
Yeah.
true. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I am so excited to talk about the next tablescape that you put together, Stephanie, and also talk about these confections because I am so hungry and I can't wait to taste some more of them. So let's walk over.
Let's do it.
Wow. Oh my gosh, these cakes look amazing. And also, like, put on the sequin linen. It's so fabulous. I love it.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorge.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's have a seat and like
Okay.
kind of chat a little bit. So, okay, you sit there. I
Okay.
sit here. Okay. This is great. Wow. So, Carrie, you have to tell me first of all. It's Carrie Cupcake.
It
I was
is,
so shocked when I found out that was your last name. I couldn't believe it. I love
Well,
it.
I own a bakery, so.
So, do you always look that beautiful when you're wearing your chef coat? Be honest.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
I always do. The
Yes.
color pink is just.
Okay, so you always have your bling on. Got it.
Always.
So tell us a little bit about what's in front of us, because this looks amazing and it smells so good. I wish you all could
you.
smell this, because it smells so good.
So basically, when Stephanie calls me, she always has some really wild ideas. So we basically go.
How did you meet? How did you two meet?
I don't remember. That's a really good
At an
question. No,
event.
I remember. A publication launch. It was a magazine publication launch, and I had seen her ad in the magazine. You did this photo shoot. It was a mermaid themed photo shoot with all of your confections.
Yes.
And I saw it before the launch, and I tracked her down at the party.
We're kind of.
I'm glad you remember that. I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot.
You remembered.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, that's really crazy. But I love to push the limits. I push the limits on everything. If I've seen it already, it's like been there, done that. So I try to push it.
To the next level. I feel the
Every
same
time.
way. I feel the same way as the floral designer. I like to like kind of push as well. So.
And I feel like this is the girl that pushes.
Oh,
I
thank
know,
you.
I know. Well, that's why I've always loved working on events with you, because
Thank
you
you.
are so creative, and it's like it's never good enough, or it never looks like an event that I've seen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's always something fresh about it, and I feel like you would never want to do the same thing over again. It's always fresh. It's always different.
And
so,
you just said
yeah.
my word, like that I use all the time. And I don't mean it in a horrible light. I mean it in it's never good enough. Like it's not good enough, just put it out. It's like you want people to clap and jump up and down and take pictures. And in my industry, if the staff is taking pictures at the venue, I have done my job because they see everything.
Carrie, it's so funny that you say that, because I literally when the Taj, I remember doing an event at the Taj, and it was an installation on the rooftop, and I had done events there before. The staff just goes through the motions, but they did stop and take pictures. And I remember thinking, oh my God, because they stopped and they see it all, that's a big deal,
It
So
sure is.
I remember. So okay, going back to the confection.
So I was like, can I get a couple, like I showed her some inspirational photos and she's like, that's all you want? I was like, but I'm trying to be conservative with what I asked
Literally,
you
she
for.
was like,
She goes, when have you ever known me to be conservative? I was like, okay, do you, girl.
She
and
goes,
this is
whatever
what,
you want to
yeah.
do it.
And so this is what she delivered today.
Wow. So
Yeah.
what is the flavor? What is going on here?
So because we did the young, wild, free vibe, basically dealing with a lot of events. I do a million events a weekend.
How many events do you do in a weekend?
No, we do a lot. I mean, we do weddings, we do bridal showers, baby showers, anniversaries. So dealing with events, there's two types of people in the world. There's your chocolate lovers and there's your vanilla lovers. And your vanilla lovers will not eat chocolate, but your chocolate lovers will eat everything. So basically, traditionally, the cake is vanilla because it appeases the most amount of people in your room. So today we did vanilla funfetti, and that's what you're smelling.
Oh my god.
It does. It's so fragrant.
I have to tell you, Carrie, I ate the cupcake and that was so good.
Thank
I was
you.
talking about it before. I know that I'm still talking about the cupcake.
You did your job.
Thank you. Well, that is, we don't, as beautiful as
Yeah,
the
it can be so.
confections
Yeah,
are, we don't take our time. Like, I take my time, of course, but we don't do it 3 weeks ago and then put it on your, so it's very fresh. The cupcakes were baked this morning, and that's the same thing for the events. They're baked, filled, frosted the morning of your event.
Well, Carrie, it's like, and I feel like you almost were touching upon this too. Like, it's like, not only does it smell good and look good, which everyone says, obviously is very important. Aesthetics are important, but it tastes so good.
Thank
So it's
you.
almost like you hit all three things. That's like someone, like a client or a vendor would look for. It's like, it tastes good, it looks fabulous, it smells amazing, it's attractive, you
Thank
want to
you.
approach it, and it's like, that's really impressive, I have to tell you, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I can't
Thank
wait.
you.
Like, Stephanie, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
bringing Carrie on the show. And, like,
She's no longer my dirty little secret.
I know. Well, it's funny because it's like you have those, right? Like you have
do,
these people who
yeah.
are in your back pocket, and you're like, oh, I want them to be super successful and I want them to be big because they're so good. But then on the other hand, you're like, oh, but then everyone's gonna know about
No,
them.
she deserves all. She's immensely successful in her own.
Yeah.
She really is.
And your
That's how I
clients-
feel over
Yeah.
here.
Oh,
So.
thank you.
And your clients have had positive reviews.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure.
I mean, the photographs alone of the confectionery tables that she does for my events probably are, I have no idea what like a typical candy table or confectionery table, how many photographs one would take, but it's probably I have the most decor photos of her tables than I do of tables, chairs, linens, room design. Everyone's like, let me photo, and they're absolute.
I can't. I just got
showcases.
goosebumps.
Yes.
I can't wait to go on your Instagram or
Well, it's
whatever.
so relatable
Yeah.
because you can eat it.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's very relatable. People get very excited, but again, we push the envelope so they look at it because it's part of the decor, and they're like, "You can eat that?
Yes.
That's edible," and they
Yes.
get closer.
Yes.
So that's where it gets really exciting for us.
Goes to show that every single vendor you have as part of your celebration should bring something to
The
the
success.
decor and the
Right.
success and the feeling of the moment.
We're only as good as our team,
That's right.
You
There's
make
no I
me
in
look
team.
good. She
Yeah.
makes
No,
me
you're
look good. You
But
make me look
but
good. We
Stephanie,
all
you've
make each
always
other look
been excellent. I
good.
remember you were doing a meeting and Siegel was there and it was like and it was like for a mitzvah and like I just remember thinking, God, she is so in control of this moment. Like
thank
just bringing all these people together and like it was just I just remember being very impressed by that and like loving it. You know what I mean? Like it was just
Yeah.
very cool. So
I only work with people who bring that out in me, and you guys are always such a
Same.
wonderful
You
team
always
to
want
work
to
with.
push the envelope,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
forever.
Rise.
Yep.
yeah. I don't know. So Rachel, what's some fun parties coming up? Anything really cool and exciting? I feel like you do so many cool events and so many
It really runs the gamut. Some people want a really low-key party, and some people want to go all out. The neons are huge right now. Neons, nightclubs, glowing,
Glow sticks.
glow sticks. Anything glowing is very popular. They're always coming out with a new and cool photo booth.
thing. You thought I would ask a question, and so I'm going to ask you the question. When you hear the phrase decorative moment, what do you think of?
I think of the moment at a celebration when a family comes together in their designed room. They're taking it all in. You've created a moment for the family, but created the backdrop for it to be really, really special. I love when a photographer will get that moment of awe
the best.
and wow, and you just see that family coming together, and it's a moment that you don't necessarily feel yourself. Like it's something for that family.
God,
And
that is such a great.
they will always remember it, and decor really pulls it all in.
As does entertainment.
As does
Because it
entertainment,
infuses
yes.
the energy and everything. So
Exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for being on the show today.
Thank you
I
for
so
having
appreciate
us.
it.
Thank
Really,
you.
Stephanie, thank you so much for coordinating with Be Our Guest. I know it was so much work. It was so much detail, which is why I'm not an event planner. It's like, I can only handle so much. I'm an extremely eccentric person. Carrie, thank you so
No,
much. I know
thank
you didn't
you.
think you were going to be on the show, but it was
Surprise.
such a fabulous. Yeah, you enhanced it so much, and
Thank you.
obviously. Your confections are fabulous, and I'm going to promote you like it's nobody's business
you
because
so
it is
much.
really good.
Thank you.
Seriously, Rachel, thank you so much.
Thank
I've
you for
loved you
having
since
me.
I started my company, and now it's so. I always like to end the show thanking our sponsors once again. So thank you to Be Our Guest Party Rental, and thank you to Glenn and Janice Williams of the Rosendale Arts Alliance for supporting the show and keeping it going. I really enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you kind of take the time, look around you and bring a decorative moment into your own life. Thank you.